Hi there guys, welcome to Bizzleberry's 8.18 support tier list. Hopefully this will help you progress through the Soraka ranking system. Bear in mind that anything that you use from B onwards is viable in low ELO. Some of those champions can be used to help learn the laning phase, such as champions like Janna, Sana, Leona. However, as you will progress further through higher ranking system, basically A, S, and S plus will usually be the only sort of like viable champions. That's probably starting from around about mid to high plat. You'll start to notice a lot of the champions around A and under kind of like niche picks or kind of generally kind of useless. So hopefully this will give you some indication of what to play in Soraka. But we'll start off with the C tier. The C tier is the exact same, it's the same thing as last patch. You got Zoe, Maokai, Malzahar, Taric, Nautilus, and Tom Kench. Nothing has happened to them this patch. Actually, in fact, on all of the supports apart from Brom, everyone else has been left unchecked and unchanged this patch. The Brom change is a health decrease by 36 base HP. I'm not sure the justification for that, but that's what's happened anyway. So Brom ever so slight nerf down on bot side, but there's nothing else in terms of support. In terms of AD, there are two AD buffs to take in mind. Lucian got buffed. Lucian has a buff on his AD ratio has been increased, so the more points he has in Q, the more damage is going to do. And the Vayne has a tumble cooldown decreased early, so level 1 tumble has gone down from 6 seconds to 4. So Vayne's going to be tumbling around a little bit more and dodging some skill shots a little bit more, so that's something to maybe bear in mind. And also, if you do notice, the Vayne's been getting picked a little bit more often in your team than champions like Lulu and even Sona and Janna will edge up slightly. We'll have to keep an eye on how often Vayne's been played. Vayne is occasionally paid at the moment, and this buff will help her out in laning phase by quite a bit, and actually increase the DPS by a little bit as well. She can tumble side skill shots more often and then return with a tumble Q. It's something to take into mind when you're picking something in Soraka here. Keep moving up the list. So B, I've moved Sona up from tier D to tier B. I have done one Sona game, and I do understand where you Sona players are coming from. She is okay to learn the champion. Downsides for her though is not only I find personally that she's incredibly boring to play, but there's very little room for mechanical outplay. The best thing you can probably do is like a flash ulti, but apart from that, there isn't much to it. You can literally roll your face on the keyboard and support your team. I mean, it's a good champion to learn how to play the laning phase, and it's a good champion in general to help your team, but if you want to be able to carry in Soraka, this champion is not it. We've got Vel'Koz, Alistair, Xerath, Zilean, Janna, Shen, Veigar, Karma, Annie, and Lulu. Once again, a lot of those champions you are fairly familiar from the last patch. All of the AP damage dealers there, so that's the Vel'Koz, the Xerath, the Zilean, the Veigar, the Annie, are really weak and very vulnerable on bot lane. Those champions are okay if you can get ahead, but getting ahead in the first place is incredibly hard anyway. So hats off to anyone who one-tricks those and manages to carry off the solo lane efficiently, because it is incredibly hard. Annie, I did put slightly higher up in the last tier list. This was due to her attack range. However, she is still quite vulnerable when going in even just for auto attacks, and you find yourself not really doing anything. So similar to, in a way, of Sona, how it's difficult to go in for harassment. I would say it's easier to harass on Sona than it is for Annie. Annie basically needs to, once again, have to use flash ulti, or you can go like a predator build and then work around with that. It's really messy, and you have to land AoE tibbers every single time. So it's a pocket pick for something, I'm sure, but it's not working out in any phase at all, really, from my experience. Lulu, as we kind of edged over in Janna and the Sona. Karma could be okay for Vayne with the Vayne buffs, just something to keep your eye on. It depends how often Vayne's been played. I don't personally see her being played incredibly more, like maybe like occasional slightly more often, but nothing crazy. But if Vayne does become like a meta champion to start playing now, those picks will go up a notch as well because of that, because they are better suited for Vayne, because they need to help peel and apply pressure in the early lane phases as well, and they can all give Vayne Ardent Sansa as well, which is what she ever so needs for mid game. We're going to progress slightly up now to Tier A. Bard, Leona, Blitzcrank, Lux, Fiddlesticks, Nunu, and Poppy. I kind of brushed on the Poppy topic last patch on the last video. Poppy is another niche pick, but when picked appropriately for when the enemy team has lots of dashes, she can excel quite nicely. So if you're feeling confident, as maybe if you played Poppy in the jungle or top lane a little bit, and the enemy does have a lot of dashes, then Poppy could be a decent pickup. Nunu, I've rated higher than Annie from the last patch changes. Now the thing with Nunu, it's similar to Blitzcrank in terms of there are set rules that you need to bear in mind before picking Nunu, and then it can work. So his early damage is very, very, very good. Level 1 to level 4, 5. His snowball damage, his W, is insane. It falls off incredibly quickly though. The problem that I have with Nunu is you can't go AP. If you go AP on Nunu, you die. You go in, you die. There's no doubt about that. So you have to go some sort of like tanky aftershock type of build. So that's why the damage falls off particularly as well with the W and the snowball. Now, so you need 2 requirements. Ideally, no dash and bot lane on the AD carry. Ideally, not 100% required, but it will help. The main requirements are the mid laner, enemy and mid laner has to be an easy target for you to be able to roam to. So someone like Twisted Fate, Karthus, even Lux, she can miss a binding kind of thing. Just someone that is vulnerable and slow mid. That will give you the best opportunity to quickly go to mid and then come back again to bot. The third requirement, I would recommend not playing against the following champions. Thresh, there's a weird interaction where you can't use a snowball through Thresh's cage. I'm not sure if that's intended or not, but basically if you try and go through it just blows up your snowball. Technically you should be able to go through slows. I believe Thresh was something like a 99% slow. You should in theory just be able to run straight through it, but it doesn't let you. It's very weird. And then you've got the grounding effect also stops you on your snowball, so that's Singed and Cass. The miasma and the slowing potion sludge from Singed, I forget the name, will stop you from snowballing into the lane as well. That's something to bear in mind. And the Zyra plants and the Heimerdinger turrets also block snowball. So if you run into one of those, your snowball will just explode. So those are some things to bear in mind when picking up Nunu support. But it can work, but there's a lot of requirements. But if those requirements are fulfilled, then you can generally have a pleasant time playing Nunu and generally do a pretty decent job. The extra smite's quite nice as well. The extra healing that you get from nomming a minion is pretty damn good. So he is a pretty troll champion, but he fits the role well when it's suited. Fiddlesticks hasn't been played as much, but he still has that CC, which everyone finds super annoying. Nothing crazy on Fiddlesticks though, but he is viable as a CC annoying thing. Maybe to stop like Cat or someone with a channel quite quickly. The amount of CC, like in that one target assassin that you're kind of scared of, you can easily deal with them quite quickly with a Fear and a Silence. Lux is really the only sort of AP down here. I guess we could classify Bard as that maybe as well. You can go kind of, the item build is the main issue for both of them. You can go AP on both, you can go support items on both, but they always just feel a little bit flat. I think Lux, when she gets ahead, is probably the stronger of the two. Bard's ult did get reduced, the cooldown did get reduced last patch. It's been nothing crazy. He is still just an okay champion to play, but you have to be exceptionally good on kind of both of them. You need to be able to land skill shots on both of them. Both of them have a similar sort of Q interaction there as well, where you can hit a minion and then the Q still passes through. Both kind of similar in that sort of respect in laning phase. I just feel like they're too squishy really to be able to justify the picks. Two other picks that are pretty decent at low elo, good examples of how they slowly fall off as you get into high elo, is Leona and Blitzcrank. Both of them have ways to prevent them from engaging in, but there are once again pocket picks, like if there's an extremely squishy bot lane, particularly like if there's a Nami, she's pretty weak vulnerable to those two, and if you're really good on those champions, you can get straight on with a burst AD carry, you can have results. But once again, pocket pick, niche pick, you have to know when to engage and how to roam around the map as well, especially. We move up to the S list. Rakan, Thresh, Braum, Morgana, Brand. They're all pretty decent picks, safe picks, apart from maybe the Brand. The first 4 there are very good safe picks to solo queue. So if you're first pick and you're not sure what to pick, Rakan, Thresh, Braum, and Morgana are definitely decent blind picks into going into anything. Honestly, I don't think the health change is going to affect Braum that much. It's kind of a weird change that they've done, but it's not for me to question. Rakan has insane ulti engage. Thresh has multiple ways of getting his jungler in and out of the laning phase. Braum, general good protection against projectiles. Morgana can save someone quite easily with a black shield. He'll generally have okay lane presence. Nothing super duper crazy. Probably the Thresh has the highest lane presence there, but it's still like nothing super duper crazy compared to some of the people in the tier above. Brand is probably the second best AP carry right now. There's nothing wrong with Brand. S is still a very respectable position to be in. I just feel like the AP champion above this is just more fun. There's a little bit more tricks you can do. But yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's Zyra. There's just so many more things you can do with Zyra than with Brand, like blocking skill shots if you're quick. And say, for example, you're against a Pyke or another hook champion, quickly get a plant right in front of you and use that as a shield to block that engage from coming through. Great zoning tools as well for both ultimate plants and grasping roots. It's all really, really nice. You got the Pyke and the Nami and the Soraka up there too. I think Pyke is still one of the best roamers in the entire game for support. You have to utilize going around the map. Doesn't matter if you go Aftershock or Electrocute, it honestly doesn't matter. It's just personal preference at the end of the day, but I do recommend you go Aftershock if you are newer to the champion, and maybe test out Electrocute and see how you feel about it as you get more used to the champion. Dark Harvest is one possibility if you go Relic Shield. I've been theory crafting it. I will report back, but I've got a feeling that Dark Harvest Pyke might actually work as support. It will require Relic Shield, and I hate going Relic Shield, but I will once again report back in the comments down below. Let me know. Do you think Dark Harvest Pyke can actually be quite nice? I think it might be good with the Relic Shield. I might be crazy, but we'll have to see. Nami, in my opinion, she's probably like my favorite enchanter. She is my favorite enchanter to play. Unholy Grail synergy with her is insanely nice, and you can make lots of heal plays. You can do lots of peel plays. You can even do respectable damage, especially if you start getting ahead in the game as well. Definitely a champion to be respected in the lane, but you will have to respect champions like Pyke and people that can engage on you because you are quite vulnerable. And Soraka. Everyone loves playing against Soraka. Especially when your team doesn't buy Grievous Wounds. She's still an incredibly annoying champion to play against if she's very good at Q, her Starfall, and it is a requirement on your team. If you're playing against Soraka, you have to have at least 2 Grievous Wounds. If you are playing against Soraka, I do recommend you take either Zyra or Brand, or someone that can take Morello. I mean, I guess Pyke could take Grievous Wounds there as well with Executioners, but she's the champion that forces your team to spend gold on Grievous Wounds, maybe early than they used to. Well, hopefully this tier list helps you out in solo queue. I hope it does. Not too much has changed from last patch. Just bear in mind the Lucian buff and the Vayne buff. Maybe the enchanters will start creeping up a little bit, and Nami will still be, and Soraka can still be played with Vayne as well. So if Vayne starts being meta, then who knows? Some of the tanks will go all the way back down again. I don't see there's going to be too much changes from now until Worlds. I think Riot are going to slow things down and make minor tweaks and things. If you guys enjoy also the PvE mode that they're bringing out, I'll definitely be giving it a go on my stream. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your week, guys.